Success is not always about what we achieve in the outside world. Often, it begins with what we cultivate within ourselves. This story of a young seeker and a Buddhist monk reveals a powerful truth about what truly makes a person successful. In a quiet village surrounded by mountains, there lived a boy named Raghav. Born into a poor family, he had always dreamed of becoming successful. He watched the wealthy merchants in the city and imagined living like them, big houses, fine clothes, and respect from everyone. But no matter how much he studied or worked, he always felt behind. His classmates seemed smarter, his neighbors more fortunate, and his struggles endless. One evening, burdened by his failures, Raghav walked toward a Buddhist monastery on the hill. He had heard stories of a wise monk who guided people to peace and success. When he arrived, the monk was watering a small sapling in the courtyard. His robes were simple, and his eyes calm like a still lake. Raghav bowed and said, "Master, I have worked so hard, yet success escapes me. Why is life so unfair? Please teach me how I can be successful." The monk looked at him with kindness and said, "If you stay here for 7 days, I will show you the path to success. But you must follow everything I ask without question." Raghav agreed eagerly. Day 1. Patience. On the first morning, the monk handed Raghav a clay pot and asked him to fill it with water from the river using a small cup. Raghav grew impatient. The river was far, the pot large, and the cup tiny. After hours of walking back and forth, his legs ached. Finally, the pot was full. The monk smiled. "Patience, my son, is the first step to success. Most people quit because they want quick results. But the one who endures patiently, even when progress seems small, eventually achieves greatness." Raghav nodded, realizing his impatience had often led him to abandon his goals too soon. Day 2. Discipline. The next day, the monk asked Raghav to sweep the entire courtyard before sunrise. Half asleep and tired, Raghav wondered why such a task was important, but he obeyed. As the sun rose, the courtyard looked clean and bright. The monk said, "Discipline is doing what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. Success is not built in bursts of effort, but in consistent action. A disciplined person creates habits that lead to success naturally." Raghav thought of his own life, how often he studied only when exams neared or worked only when motivated. Discipline was missing. Day 3. Gratitude. On the third day, the monk asked Raghav to sit quietly and write 10 things he was grateful for. At first, Raghav struggled. He only thought about what he lacked. But slowly, he realized he had supportive parents, a body capable of work, food to eat, and the chance to learn. The monk said, "Gratitude turns what we have into enough. A heart that sees abundance attracts more success than one that complains. Without gratitude, even the richest man feels poor." Raghav felt lighter. His sadness started to fade. Day 4. Service. On the fourth day, the monk took Raghav to a nearby village where many poor families lived. He asked him to help distribute food to hungry children. At first, Raghav felt shy. But when he saw the children's smiles, he felt a joy greater than any he had known. The monk explained, "True success is not measured by what you gain, but by what you give. A life lived only for oneself is small. A life that serves others is great." Raghav's heart stirred with a new sense of purpose. Day 5. Focus. On the 5th day, the monk gave Raghav a candle and asked him to protect its flame from the wind while walking around the monastery. Every time Raghav lost focus, the flame went out. He had to start again. After many attempts, he finally completed the task with deep concentration. The monk said, "Focus is the sharpness of the mind. Many fail not because they lack ability, but because they scatter their energy. Success belongs to those who keep their flame of attention alive." Raghav realized how often he was distracted by worries, by comparisons, by meaningless talk. Day 6. Self-control. On the sixth day, the monk placed a plate of sweet fruits before Raghav and said, "Do not eat these until I return." Hours passed. The sweet fragrance tempted him. His stomach growled. But he controlled himself. When the monk returned, he smiled. Success requires self-control. The one who cannot control his desires becomes a slave to them. But the one who masters himself is free, and freedom is the root of success. Raghav bowed his head. He understood now that success was not about conquering the world, but conquering himself. Day 7. Faith. On the final day, the monk took Raghav to a cliff overlooking the valley. "Jump," he said. Raghav froze. "Master, I will die." The monk laughed gently. "I don't mean into the valley. I mean jump into life with faith. Success requires trust in your effort, trust in the process, and trust that the universe will support you. Without faith, fear will hold you back forever." Tears filled Raghav's eyes. For the first time, he felt a deep courage rising inside him. At the end of 7 days, Raghav bowed before the monk. "Master, I came here asking for the secret to success. You gave me something greater. You showed me how to live." The monk placed his hand on Raghav's head. "Remember these 7: patience, discipline, gratitude, service, focus, self-control, and faith, and success will follow you, not the other way around." Raghav returned to his village with a new heart. He studied with patience, worked with discipline, served with kindness, and faced life with faith. Years later, he became not just wealthy in worldly terms, but deeply respected as a wise and compassionate leader. People said, "He is successful." But Raghav always smiled and remembered the monk's words. True success is not what you have, but who you become.